What is up, YouTubers, gamers, and fellow hobbyists out there? Welcome to P&Q 2024 Summertime Edition version. This is Summer P&Q, what can I say? Now I have a little caveat before we start, and that is due to recent events in my life, i.e. getting a new dog. My mind's been a bit preoccupied with that lately, so I made a bit of a boo-boo when I was, because my questions, I normally get them as I get the questions, I copy them and I save them to, a folder, and then I print them out later. Now, like a dickhead, I've only been able to capture the actual questions, not who they're from. I don't know if this is a problem, not a problem, but I don't know if this is a nuance that you just get when you're using a Mac. I was doing it on my MacBook, and I was using the FingerPad section to kind of copy. Didn't capture. It doesn't always capture the YouTube logo of who it's from, and normally I spot that straight away, and then I just redo it. I didn't. I haven't been doing it over the course of however many months it's been. A couple of months, I think, since I first started getting questions. So I really do apologise. Looking at the questions, I think I know who some of them were from, but to be honest, it would be a guess. So, unfortunately, you're going to have to watch the whole video to find your question. You'll just recognise your own questions when we come to them. So, yeah. So, apologies for that. Yeah. Okay. So, starting from the top then. And this is in no particular order, by the way. The question I have here is, oh, by the way, before we get going, because it's been so long since I've done this sort of thing, yes, I've got a new dog, and my routine has been interrupted, so I'm not in the zone with stuff, particularly with creating content for my channel, but I'm getting back into it now because, the worst of the initial basic training period we're through that now, and things are looking up on the up for hobby time, etc. So we'll be looking forward to that. So yeah, this is my summer P&Q. I thought I'd make it maybe my last P&Q ever, but that's not set in stone. Never say never, right? Yeah, not set in stone. I may do one just randomly sometime and then ask for questions then, when I want to do that. I've got a nice lot of questions here, probably the most, nearly the most I've ever had, possibly 16 questions, I think it is. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 16 questions. So that isn't bad. Anyway, starting from the top then. So this is my question and answer series where you ask me a question, be it hobby related or, can be personal. And if I feel like answering it, I will. Yeah, so without further ado, I've got my coffee. Let's get on with it. Right. Americano. Lovely. Okay, so the first question is, and honestly, I'm sorry, I can't remember who sent this. Have you switched your focus to role-playing games? Do you still like painting and building? Okay. I think, right. So the first part of that question, have I switched my focus to role-playing games? I'd have to say no, but I have added role-playing games as another area. I can't say, yeah, I'm switching my focus to that, because as time goes by, I will switch my focus to whatever aspect that's exciting me at that time. So, sometimes it'll be role-playing games, sometimes it'll be war games, sometimes it'll be board games, Do I still like painting and building? Absolutely. I love it. Absolutely love it. Yes. Good question. Okay. Next one. Ooh, what is the longest RPG campaign that you have partaken in? I think I know who sent that, because he's a member, or he was a member of the roleplay group I was with at the time. So the longest campaign I've ever partaken in would have been in Dungeons and Dragons when I was a child at school, and it went on for about 5, maybe 6 years. That isn't bad, is it, for a campaign? Yeah. You know who you are. You sent that. Yeah, 5 or 6 years. You can correct me, actually. You might know better than I do. But thanks for the question to get it out on my channel. That was nice, I like that. Next one. Are you a fan of Lord of the Rings? Yes, I am. Huge fan of Lord of the Rings. That said, I don't tend to do the models for the wargaming that much. I've got a few, not many. Maybe I should get more, because they're quite good, aren't they? I love the models. They're absolutely gorgeous. Okay, next question. I know who sent this. How is your new dog getting on? He is amazing. It's called Dylan, for those of you that don't know. He's called Dylan, and he is absolutely amazing. He's a Cyprian Pointer, and yeah, he's coming on in leaps and bounds, literally. He really is a gorgeous boy. He is learning so quickly. That said, you've got to keep on top of his training, daily. Else he kind of loses focus, a bit like a wargamer does with one project to the next. You just got to do it every day, daily basis, and you're fine. Yeah, but he is doing really, really well. And yes, you said in another comment, I believe, you're looking forward to meeting him. I'm looking forward to you meeting him too as well. So when you come up next time, you will meet him, and he'll be a lot, I say better behaved, but he'll be a lot more maturely behaved than he was when we first had him. Yes, so I'm looking forward to seeing you as well. And so is he. Next question. We're zooming through these. Ooh, how did you get into A World of Darkness, and at what point? I have to think on that. I have to work backwards. I think it was in the 90s when I was a student at uni. I was in a flat, and my upstairs sort of flatmate, he introduced me to it and said, "Did I want to pop along to a game?" He'd found a little group of people that he knew that were into this game called Vampire, and I said, "Well, tell me more about it." So at that point, I was pretty much just into D&D. So I think he borrowed the guy that ran it. I'm trying to remember his name. I can't remember his name for the life of me. But oh yes, I do. He's called Bevan. He lent my friend the main rule book, which was the 2nd edition one, by the way, which I now have on my shelf, the hardback. He lent him the main rule book. He brought it round. He went through it with me. He explained a little bit about. He had a couple of blank character sheets there. Went through making the character, and I was gobsmacked at how quickly you could make a character. I was like, wow, that's amazing. Just roll up a character in minutes. That's brilliant, It takes me ages in D&D to roll up a character. But yeah, absolutely gobsmacked at how quick you can do it. And the individuality you could put into the character creation, you could really make each one totally different. So there was nothing generic about it. And yes, you could belong to clans which had generic traits, but as an individual, you'd be very, very different as to where you put your points on your character sheet. Brilliant, I loved it. And then he went through some combat with me. We played a few combat scenarios on his kitchen table, and it was really, really fun. So I agreed. Yeah, I will go along to a game. Is the storyteller okay with that? And he's like, yeah, of course he is. Roll up a character, come along, which I did. So I went along with my friend. So the group were expecting a newbie to show up, which I was. And they were playing. Another thing which struck me was that, they're playing kind of almost in darkness, but around candlelight. Very, very creepy atmosphere, and I loved it. And the storyteller, he was really, really good at setting the scene and describing the events and putting the atmosphere into the game and the feel of it. He was brilliant. Needless to say, I was instantly hooked, and I just loved it. I got into it huge at that point, and I just kind of got as many books as I could afford. I had to spend a fortune at my newsagents using their photocopier, printing out all their character sheets and stuff, all the different clans and different things. Yeah, but I had this big folder full of them, and it's good times. But that's how I got into it. And then I played a game of Werewolf with them. So the first game I played was Vampire. Obviously, I played a Nosferatu. Next game I played was Werewolf. But I can't remember for the life of me what werewolf I played. Silver Fangs, maybe. But anyway, yeah. But yeah, that's how I got into it. Okay, next question. Ooh. What inspired you to start Mini Warzone? And how has the channel evolved since its inception? Wow, what a question. It's a deep question. Thanks for that. Getting me thinking. Well, the easy part to that is what inspired me to start Mini Warzone was Mini Wargaming. That huge, giant of a wargaming company that's out there that everybody knows about. But it was that and another one called, at the time, it was called Beasts of War. But primarily it was Mini Wargaming that inspired me to start my own channel, because at the time their videos were, very basic and very simple, and I thought, I can do that. And then I started seeing other channels popping up on YouTube that were doing wargaming content. I thought, it looks fun. I want some of that. I want a slice of that pie. So that's what I did. As for how has my channel evolved since its inception, wow. I don't think it's evolved hugely. I went through the phase of, trying to sort my thumbnails out and all that sort of stuff. Use the same sort of font, the same sort of style, so you recognize it throughout the whole marketing bit, like marketing your IP sort of thing. It hasn't evolved a great deal in terms of how I create content. I have more equipment that I use to make content, but I started with a really, originally it was just my MacBook camera with a microphone plugged into it. That was it. Sat on my bed, make videos that way. Then I got this crappy camcorder thing. I can't even remember the make of it. It was really, really rubbish. No autofocus or anything like that. It was just set fixed focus. Made a few videos with that, not very good ones. Then I got my Sony, and I've got another one now. So I've got two Sony cameras, and I've got loads of tripods and lighting now. So I suppose, in a way, the standard of my videos has increased a little bit, maybe. Yeah, when I first started, I suppose I was purely just into the Warhammer stuff. I was really, really hyped and pumped about that. And I still am. but I'm just into so much more now. My eyes have been completely opened to what's out there. I'm like, wow, I never knew there was so much available for the hobby. Absolutely incredible. So my channel has evolved in terms of what I make videos about. I do more of that sort of stuff, more different stuff. I like to do random videos on my channel as well, which aren't wargaming related. I know that's not the YouTube kind of ethos, but stuff it. It's my channel. I'll do what I want. And yeah, I suppose that really. So I don't think it's evolved a huge amount, but you know, unless you can tell me. But if I remember rightly, you're a new subscriber. I'm sorry, I can't remember who you are. I really messed up there doing that. I'll put it down to concentrating on my new dog and not paying attention. I took my eye off the ball. But yeah, so if you recognise your question, but if you do know, if you've looked back over my early videos, you tell me how it's evolved. That'd be cool. Right. Next one. What's your favourite game or scenario to play and why? That's a tough one too. I don't have favourite scenarios. I think you're maybe hedging me to answer a wargaming scenario, a Warhammer scenario. I think my favourite game overall, wargaming game, is Warhammer 40,000. Followed closely by Bolt Action. As for scenario, I don't really have a favourite scenario. Not really. Just whatever seems cool at the time. With Warhammer, yeah, it's just whatever pans out and works well at the time. I haven't played Warhammer for a long time. But when I did, it didn't always matter if I won. You didn't have to win to enjoy it. As long as the story and the theme of the game was cool and interesting, that's all I really cared about, and that the models and the table looked good. For Bolt Action, I've enjoyed playing set scenarios from history. I've never played a what if scenario. Don't know if I would enjoy that or not. Maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't. Don't know. But yeah, hope that answers that for you. Okay. Next one. Can you share some tips for balancing work, life, and the hobby? Tips. Well, as you know, I'm balancing it at the moment. And I'm aware that once I've made this video, I'm going to have to go and check on my dog. I don't know. I suppose now I've got my dog, say for instance, I'm up a lot earlier, so I go to bed a lot earlier. Therefore, hobby times where I used to do late night hobby stuff, that's a thing of the past. I don't do that anymore. It's more likely to be early morning, if anything, or on a day like today when I'm off of work. I do it around about lunchtime or something like that, when there's a quiet lull period. Tips for balancing life and the hobby. Well, the big tip I would say with it all is don't worry about it. As soon as you start panicking and you go, oh no, I'm not gonna be able to make, videos or do my hobby, whatever. As soon as you start worrying about it, you don't enjoy it anymore, and I think it fades off. Yeah. So just chill. The times, opportunities will arise. They will present themselves to you. Just grab them, take them. Don't waste time. Just get on with it. Just put your camera on, make a video like I'm doing right now, and go with the flow. Go with the flow. Okay, what we got here? What's the most challenging project or model you've ever worked on? I think that's easy to answer. Warhammer 40,000 Drop Pod. It's the hardest model I've ever had to build, and I can safely say that because it's the only model I've ever had to build where I've needed another pair of hands to hold the fins in place while I get the glue on and set the glue sets and that. I don't know if it's because it was a long time ago I built one. I think I've got another one on the shelf somewhere. But yeah, it was the hardest model for me to build. I find bolt action infantry finicky with their arms and guns and things. I don't enjoy building them, I'll be honest. Whereas I really enjoy building Warhammer infantry. I suppose because their scale is like heroic or whatever, and it's that much bigger and easier to handle. I've got quite big hands. I've got a bass player's hands, see. Yeah, so I would say that. Next question. If you could collaborate with any other wargaming channel, who would it be and why? I don't actually remember this question. I just opened up the file and printed them. I don't remember that one. Huh. Hope I left you a like. Or if I could collaborate with another wargaming channel, who would it be and why? Collaborate. I'm not big into collaboration. I'm a one-man show. I'm a bit of a lone wolf when it comes to things. But if I was going to, I would say I would like to collaborate with Jamjar43. If you've not heard of him, look him up, check out his channel, go and subscribe. Why? Because I find his enthusiasm for the hobby infectious. I don't know what it is. It's like when you listen to a certain song or a piece of music, it hits a certain frequency and it really resonates with you. Well, his enthusiasm for the hobby really resonates with me, and yeah, it makes me want to do more hobby stuff. Yeah, so Jamjar43 used to be called Jamjar34. I changed for another channel name to Jamjar43 due to technical issues. So if you're having trouble finding him, that's why. What are some common mistakes beginners make in wargaming? How can they avoid them? Common mistakes. That's a tricky one, because everybody makes mistakes in wargaming, especially in battle reports, even playthroughs. When I do like Zombicide playthroughs, there's always someone that'll go, "Hey, that rule is wrong," blah 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 blah. When you're filming, it's just too much to remember. End of the day, as long as you're having fun, that's all that matters. But beginners making wargaming, you mean actual playing or painting, or I don't think there's any such thing as mistakes, as long as you're having fun. How can you avoid them though? Well, if you're concerned about getting things wrong, whether you're painting or wargaming, just look at videos on YouTube. YouTube is a huge realm. It's a treasure trove of hobby goodness out there. There's usually some video that will help you with whatever aspect you're struggling with. Okay. Next. Ooh, this is a good one. How do you stay motivated to keep creating content, especially during busy times? Well, I think I've kind of answered that. How do I stay motivated? Like my other tip, basically, just don't worry. Just don't worry about it. If you're too busy to make content, you're too busy to make content. If you've got a chance to put up a message on YouTube, just say, look, sorry, I'm busy right now. I'm not going to make videos. Cool. If not, I'm sure your subscribers will understand. You know, we're a good bunch for the most part. Yeah, so just don't worry about it. How do you approach learning new rules or strategies for a game? Well, if it's role-playing, one of the first things I do is I look up how to create a character. You know, we look at a rule book. I skim through it, I kind of scan it first. Then I try to create a character if possible. Then I learn combat, so I could create two characters, pit them against each other if it's using magic or physical, like melee stuff, cool, shooting, whatever. Right, okay. And then I'll go into the read through the lore a bit more, and all that kind of stuff, and also watch YouTube videos on it. Okay, here's one for you. What is the greatest roleplay game ever made? For me, it's Dungeons and Dragons. Not as it is now, but as it was when I was first introduced to Dungeons and Dragons. It was a completely different beast to what it is now, and to be frank, it was way better. And for me, like the first and second edition of D&D and Advanced Dungeons and Dragons are the best role-playing games I have ever had the pleasure of getting into. So I would say D&D. Okay. What multiplayer game would you like to see solo player rules? Could you show how to play bolt action solo on the channel, and maybe a live show while playing Zombicide? That's a big ask. What multiplayer game would I like to see solos for? Ooh. I don't know. I'd like to see solo rules for Warhammer. That can be multiplayer. So I would say Warhammer 40k. I'm not fussed about. I'll be straight up honest here. I don't really like Age of Sigmar as a game. Some of the models are really cool, but as a game, it's not my bag. I used to find Warhammer Fantasy very intriguing and fascinating, and I wanted to get into it, and then they ended it before I could. Could you show how to play bolt action solo on the channel? Yes, I can do that. I can do that right here, but not right now. But yes, that is on my wish list, to-do list. Oh, I'm leaning to one side too much. Yes, definitely. Maybe a live show while playing Zombicide. That's a big ask, that, because you need a hell of a setup for that. To do a live show. I don't have enough little cameras to connect to my Mac to do that, because you need more than one, otherwise you can't see what's going on. So I wouldn't do a live show while playing Zombicide. Not only that, live it takes hours. And last but not least, I'm sorry for all that stress. I hope everyone recovers well. Oh, I think I know who sent this one, but I'm not 100%. My grandmother fell, and it was very unsettling. Yeah. Talking about my mum. I was talking about my mum having a fall, going into hospital, and how stressful it was. I know that. So I think I know who sent this. I think it might be who took my dice, but I'm not 100%. If I'm wrong, apologies. But yeah, it is very unsettling. My mum is now in a nursing home at the moment, and I'm hoping she will settle. I haven't been to see her there yet. I'm planning on visiting her at the weekend and seeing how she's getting on. I hope she integrates well there, because she does need 24-hour care now. That's a sad fact. Yeah. And just by knowing she'll have the care takes some of the stress off, which is good. Okay, your questions. What is your favourite GW produced game? Can be past or present. Ooh, yeah. That's easy. That is easy peasy. That is Space Hulk, my friend. Space Hulk. I love Space Hulk. But I also like, what's it called? Where is it? Looking for it. I can't remember the name of it, so I'm desperately looking. Oh, Lost Patrol. Looking on my shelf there. Lost Patrol. I haven't played that in years, but I do like Lost Patrol. Sort of like Space Hulk in the jungle. Yeah, I like that because I suppose Space Hulk is kind of like reminiscent of the Aliens game or movies. The first couple. Yeah, Space Hulk, the best, absolute best. I had Space Crusade when I was younger, but Space Hulk was where it's at for me. Of course, I've got it now, but yeah, Space Hulk, really, really cool game, and Lost Patrol. And that, my friends, is all the questions I've got. Yeah, that's it. That is it. Well, thanks ever so much for joining me on this summertime P&Q 2024. The sun is actually shining down on me, and it's lovely. And I hope you all have as great a day as I'm planning on having. So until next time, my friends, remember, all brushes lead to war, and I'll see you on another video. Bye for now. Bye bye.